these are awesome people. So I thought I need to introduce some awesome people to I'm hello. Good Monday evening. I am so excited to be here with you. We are in beautiful West Hollywood where the stars are, and this is from the Halls of Justice on local channel 36, and we have a wonderful guest with us this evening. I'm excited because he's my first, actually. I've never had an attorney. We've had the judges. We've had two wonderful judges, Judge Craig J. Mitchell and Judge Kelvin Filer, who are just awesome justices. And tonight we have with us Dakar Diourbel.
Last name pronounced Diourbel, but good try. I give you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Now say it one more time for me.
Well, I always teach people the I is pronounced like a Y.
Okay.
So if you think about it in that way, it's Diourbel.
Diourbel.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And associates. And he is a criminal attorney, and you're starting to practice civil also?
Yes. I started over a year ago a civil litigation practice, so it is up and running.
Okay.
I have a couple dozen cases that are civil cases, so criminal defense and civil litigation is what I do.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, this will be new and different for us. So we get an education on criminal defense, and some of you might really need this, so take some notes. Okay. Now, what's your, well, we already said your name, but the pronunciation, if it's D-I, and you said it's like D-Y.
Diourbel, yes.
Diourbel.
Yeah.
Okay. And where are you from, sir?
I am from Chicago, Illinois. That's where I was born.
Chicago.
And I grew up in the south suburbs, so raised in Illinois. And but I've been here in California now, the LA area, for 15 years. So this is home, and I have family here.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. Awesome.
I was born and raised in the Midwest.
Okay. Midwest. And I like this. And what made you want to become an attorney?
Ooh, let's see. You know, I was at a point in my life where I was trying to figure out what's that next step, because I had previously gone to college and graduated and then worked for a few years in corporate America. And I was in a field where I was getting good experience as far as doing employee training. I worked as a health and safety manager.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
So what were you doing? Health and safety.
Which is a lot like being a police officer without a gun, handcuffs, or any other weapon.
Oh, no.
You know, it's like being a police officer with a clipboard.
Oh, no.
And so there were things I liked about that work, but there were things I didn't like about it, and I knew for sure I didn't want to do it long term. So I was at a stage in my life where I'm like, what can I do next? And after weighing all my options and having some exposure to EPA law and OSHA law from the field that I worked in, I thought I would go to law school and become an environmental lawyer.
Will you elaborate a little bit on OSHA law?
OSHA law, so OSHA is the Occupational Safety and Health Administration.
Okay.
It's a national organization, a federal administration. Many states also have a state OSHA, but they're the organization that regulates workplace safety for employees throughout the country. So when employees have to be trained on how to do proper lifting or how to wear personal protective equipment, those types of things, and the management of workplace injuries and things of that nature. OSHA regulates all of that activity.
So it has nothing to do with the sharks and the dolphins. It's not ocean law.
No, not OSHA. It's an acronym, OSHA, OSHA.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just asking because I've seen it in like a list of um, schools and the classes that are mandatory that you must take in different areas.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, so why do they want you to do that? So, so that okay, that, yeah, no, really, I was thinking that. I'm sorry. It's like when what was her name? Was it Jessica Simpson? When it was tuna fish, and she thought why do they fly? Never mind. I'm just having a good time.
I think I remember hearing something about that.
Okay, all right. So, but anyway, go ahead. So you were practicing in EPA and OSHA.
Well, right. Well, as a health and safety manager, I had to also deal with, EPA regulations, and that's the Environmental Protection Agency. They regulate, waste created in the workplace, for example, how it has to be disposed of and what can be admitted into the environment and those types of things. So because I was getting exposure to environmental law, I initially decided to go to law school so I can be an environmental law attorney. But then I got to law school and realized that wasn't going to happen.
And why wasn't it going to happen?
Well, for one, to be in private practice and be an environmental lawyer, it's very difficult because it takes a tremendous amount of resources to prosecute environmental law cases. As an environmental defense attorney, defending corporations against environmental lawsuits, that's not something I was interested in doing. But for example, if you bring a lawsuit against Chevron for, contaminating water supplies, groundwater, and not to pick on Chevron, but any corporation, you're dealing with corporations that have billions of dollars,
right,
and have almost unlimited resources to fight back.
Like when they take the little Dawn dish soap and put it on the little birdies that you see, and you're washing the birds off from the oil.
Yeah. So to fight those claims, it takes a lot of money, and that's not something the types of cases you can just take and work out of your home office.
Okay.
By yourself. It's going to take a lot of resources. So.
And so then you thought about it, and then what made you enter into criminal?
It just kind of happened. I had, graduated law school, passed the bar exam, and then, I had
Did you pass on the first try?
Of course.
And you're good.
I came out of law school at a time where we were in a recession. And like many of my classmates who were similarly situated, we just all started our own law practices as solo practitioners. So we started taking cases initially from people we knew. And then, as you start having some success on cases, your reputation begins to grow and people bring cases to you. So to answer your question, I ended up becoming a person who focused on criminal defense law initially because those were the cases people were bringing to me.
Really?
Yeah. So people, when you go to law school, everybody and everybody they know knows that you went to law school.
Okay.
So when somebody catches a criminal case...
And you passed, so... Yeah.
When somebody catches a criminal case, they're like, oh my God, who do I know that can help me?
Okay.
And people knew about me or knew about me through somebody they knew, and those cases were brought to me, and I started having some success on those cases, so I started getting more and more, so that's how it happened.
Really? So you just kind of fell into it. So Dom, I know you can hear me. Where's his name tag? The portion I'm looking for his name on the show. So okay, so there you go. That's what I wanted to see. Thank you very much. All right, so that's how you fell into it. And then, so people started, so you must have had some kind of good success for them to keep bringing them to you.
Yeah, you know what? It's like, most other areas in life, if you do something and you get a good outcome, and you can use that to bring in business, right? Because people, especially when you're a new attorney, people want to know, have you ever handled a case like this before? Or have you ever handled a felony case? And then you can say, well, I actually you know, recently defended someone in a criminal case. They were charged with blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
Initially, they went to court. They had a public defender, and they were facing this amount of prison time.
Mm-hmm.
Their public defender advised them it was a good plea deal
Mm-hmm.
and advised them to take it.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want to take it. They hired me.
Okay.
And in the end, we got the case dismissed.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So, yeah, so when you have results like that, and I'm not saying every case was resolved like that,
Right.
but when you have those stories to share with people,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that does help you get more business as a new attorney.
I'm sure it
Yeah.
does, because I'm thinking there's probably a lot of attorneys that would, coming from the public defender side, if you had to, that would encourage a plea deal. So,
Yes.
because they want to settle and get it and
Right.
keep it moving.
And a lot of private attorneys, I sometimes would advise someone to take a plea deal if it's in their best interest.
Okay.
You know, so you know each case is has to be evaluated on its own merits,
Mhm.
and sometimes the evidence is overwhelming against the person. They're guilty, and their chances of prevailing at trial are extremely slim.
Judge
So-
Kavanaugh? No, should I?
For example,
I'm sorry.
so you want to settle those cases instead of take them to trial, but
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, and so you've been in California for 15 years. How long
Yes.
have you been an attorney?
It'll be 9 years in December.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right. Congratulations.
Almost.
You look like a little youngster, so that's
Oh
good.
wow! Thank you.
And while we were waiting for the cameras to roll, you said that you've been in Judge Craig J. Mitchell's courtroom before.
I have. I think I've been in Judge Filer's court too,
Really?
but I think I've been in Judge Mitchell's court more
Okay.
because I've been in that court several times,
Mhm.
and I'm trying to remember: is he in Inglewood or?
Judge Filer is in Compton.
Okay.
Judge Mitchell is downtown.
Oh, is he in downtown? Okay, I know they move around sometimes.
Yeah, I guess so.
So, okay. But yeah, I've been in
Okay, last time I checked. that's
before
where we were.
both of those
Yeah.
bench officers. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and where did you go to law school?
I went here in Los Angeles Southwestern Law School.
Oh, really?
I usually have to explain my law school to people.
Okay.
But you work in this profession, I don't have to explain it to you.
Okay, I was gonna say, and that's how was your experience at the law school?
You know, it was a mixed bag.
Okay.
You know, I got to law school like everybody else,
Okay.
excited to be there.
Okay.
And then after you become overwhelmed with all the reading assignments and reality sets in, it's no longer a walk in the park.
Mm.
But overall, it was if I had it to do over again, I would definitely do it.
Okay.
Because it helped me to get to where I am now,
Mhm.
and as they say, what doesn't kill you will only make you stronger.
Okay.
So overall, it was a good experience, but
Okay. I know a couple of people who went to Southwestern.
okay.
And they opened up some new areas of law in some other schools. I mean, there's with the law school, and they've partnered with another school that I inquired about, and they're doing some good things.
Mm.
So I don't know. I mean, I was thinking about it personally.
Okay.
I don't know. I still might tackle my dream of going to law school. So we kind of touched on this about what you did prior to going to law school. So that's what led you into law school, was that you didn't care for.
I was in a field that I knew I didn't want to be in long term. So it's like, what other options are there? You know, and out of all the options that I saw before me,
Mhm.
law school made the most sense.
I like law school.
Yeah.
I mean, I love law. It excites me. I love what you do.
Mm.
Okay, and then, well, we talked about this, but you can elaborate a little bit more on what types of cases do you handle?
Well, for criminal, I've done, misdemeanor and felony cases.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the most basic misdemeanor cases, DUIs, solicitation,
Mm-hmm.
and all the way up to, I've handled, I think I've worked on 2 murder cases.
Wow.
Neither of which actually made it to trial. So I haven't done a trial on a murder case, but I've done trials on other felony cases and misdemeanor trials.
That's
So
heavy.
I've done a variety. I haven't, I haven't defended anyone in a sex crime case. So I haven't done those. I haven't done like child molestation or rape.
Okay.
And I'm proud to say that actually, because I try to avoid those cases.
Okay.
And I think I'll continue to avoid them. Okay. And when it comes to civil, it's personal injury, and it's a great variety of different types of cases. So it's kind of hard to lump them together. But if somebody has a good civil case, I'll probably take it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I am a ride hard family law girl. And I learned this saying a long time ago that in criminal you see people who can be terrible people at their best. And in family law you see, they're calling now, you can see the best people at their worst. Because it's very personal when your spouse leaves you or your children, but when I was younger, I used to think, oh, I'd love to do criminal law. I want to fight for the right so that justice may live, to be willing to march into hell for a heavenly cause. I was ready. And then some of the cases just really got into my spirit and bothered me. I much rather stay family law. I've handled a few family law cases and realized that's just not my cup of tea. I don't like dealing with all the emotion. Like, as a criminal defense attorney, 95% of my clients are men, and they don't call me crying on the phone. and during the middle of a basketball game while I'm trying to enjoy the game. Family law, on the other hand, you get those calls where, your client will call you crying about, a child custody issue. When I started getting those calls, I was representing a couple of people in divorce cases when I first started. I realized, like, oh, this is not for me. This is not for you? Okay, yeah. All right. I love that stuff. I mean, I can relate to that stuff.
That's your drama.
It's my drama.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's what I live for.
I think everybody likes drama. The only question is, where do you prefer to get it?
I don't want it to be my drama.
Right.
I can work on your drama. I can shield you. I can protect you. I can hopefully lead you and guide you in a calm, Aryan way that we can resolve this. And if one way doesn't work, if mediation doesn't work, then that's when you take then litigation.
Yeah.
And you just have to beat them to death in the law.
Usually the field that we work in, we usually get enough drama out of our work that most attorneys I meet, including myself, not that I've met myself, but you know what I mean, we don't have a lot of drama in our personal lives because, dealing with criminal defense clients, it's a lot of drama in those cases. Yes. Everything that happened and it's like, so I try to keep my life as drama-free as possible because I get enough of a thrill. Some people get their drama from reading books, television shows. Some people like it in their personal lives. Some people get it from work. And I think we're in one of those professions where we get enough of it from work that we don't,
get a lot of it.
Well, I'm speaking for myself. I don't know. Maybe you like drama and other.
Not like that. Okay. Not like that. Not in my life. I'm a fun person, though. I'm a fun person. So, now, what do you enjoy? Well, of course I can tell that. Do you enjoy what you do? Yes. No.
Yes, I do. I enjoy it. There are things that I don't enjoy doing as an attorney. Yeah. You know what? I'm not. I really don't like. I don't like the money collection part of it. You know what I mean?
I can collect some money. My mama's a pastor. I know how to collect some money. We don't hear no change in the basket, just soft money. That's what, and in criminal, let's see. I knew of a criminal specialist in a part of the city that's definitely not broke. But his favorite thing is that for criminals, see, you collect your money up front. because he said if they go to jail, they're gone. But you got to get your money up front.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's generally true.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's going on with the bail bond situation? Do you think that's a positive move?
Well, I think we're going to have to kind of wait and see how that plays out. I know bail bondsmen that obviously are going to be put out of business because of that, because, that new law that Governor Brown signed, I think it takes effect January 1st. So it's basically eliminating the need for bail bonds companies. It's eliminating.
Well, don't they still need them, like at the hearing, if he says yes, you're eligible for bail, or?
I don't know. That's a good question, but I know it gives the courts the power to make a determination or to grant people an OR release. So it's basically bail bondsmen, from what I've heard directly, are concerned that it's people aren't gonna need to bail out as much as they used to, because they will be able to get released from the court. And actually, I think it may actually eliminate bail bondsmen. I think that's what's being said, or at least reducing them.
It might reduce it, but I think there's a few people out there that really might need them. Because is the judge going to authorize if they're eligible to be bail bonded out, or are they just going to send them straight to jail to wait for the hearing? Because then it's going to be an overcrowded prison situation.
Well, that was my understanding initially, that the judge would make a determination of whether you can be released on your own recognizance, meaning on your own promise to return for your court dates, or whether you would simply have to remain in custody and fight your case.
Sorry, that's me.
So that was my understanding, but I mean, I would have to take a closer look at it. But maybe the judges are going to make a determination, as they currently do, as to whether and determine what the bail should be. But see, that wouldn't be a change to the current system. So, because the system currently allows judges to determine what bail should be set as. There's a schedule that's followed.
Okay.
But the judges have discretion, and they can lower someone's bail or grant the person an OR release. But so I think that's what people are concerned about. That's what I've been hearing, is that it's going to be an either or. Either people are going to be released by the judge, or they're just going to have to remain in custody and fight the case. What percentage of people are still going to...
They're going to be building some new prisons or some new jail cells or something, because it's really going to be crowded.
Well, it depends on how lenient are the judges going to be. Are 50% of the people, the criminal defendants, going to be released without having to post bail, and the other 50% remain in custody? We don't know. I think that remains to be seen.
Wow.
But yeah.
Wow. That's heavy. Oh, that's real heavy. I wouldn't want to be responsible for that. And this is interesting. Is there anything that you do not like about your work or practice in general?
Anything that I don't like
besides
about it.
Besides the money.
Yeah. I just deal with it. But, occasionally I will have a client who has really unrealistic expectations, where they've committed a crime and it was caught on surveillance video.
Okay.
And there were eyewitnesses.
Oh my God.
And then when the police came to investigate, they confessed. And then now they're in jail, and they want to hire you. Maybe they bailed out, and they want to hire you to beat the case.
Oh no.
And I'm like, do you know how hard you just made it for any attorney to fight the case?
Oh.
You confessed to the crime. It's
Yeah.
like, and the confession was totally constitutional. Yeah. So I deal with that sometimes. Not with all my clients, but I would say maybe 10% of the people I end up representing have unrealistic expectations. And no matter what the evidence is, a lot of people feel like if I hire an attorney, if you're a good attorney, you should be able to beat the case no matter what the evidence is.
Oh no!
I'm like, no, I think you got me mixed up with a magician.
Oh God!
If you hire a good magician, maybe a good magician can make the evidence disappear.
Oh my
But
God.
an attorney can't make the evidence disappear. And as long as the evidence is there, we just got to deal with it.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
So, who do you look up to in your profession, and who inspires you?
Who do I look up to? Wow. I've encountered a few judges that I admire.
Yeah.
And, I don't want to name names, but there are people I definitely look up to. I'm a big Johnny Cochran fan, like most criminal defense attorneys. Who inspires me? I find inspiration outside of my profession. But I'm inspired by, a number of people. I could start. I'm inspired by Bill Withers and his music. You know who Bill Withers is?
Yeah, didn't he beat Denise? I'm sorry. Keep on using me, right? Do you
use me. Yeah.
Okay, but then he was in love with Denise. I'm sorry.
The actress.
Mama. Yeah.
Okay.
And she had the green eyes, and they got.
I never heard about him beating anybody.
Okay. Well,
I'm inspired by his music, by the way.
Okay. I'm sorry, Bill. I thought. And that was okay.
Wow.
That wasn't Cosby. That was a drink he was dipping in and dropping the little things. And what do you think about that? That the judge opening a case that had been a matter that had been sealed.
You're talking about the civil
Cosby.
Suit where Bill Cosby had gave a deposition. And that was the civil suit of Andrea Constand, the victim in the criminal case. In her civil case, her attorneys deposed Bill Cosby under oath, and that was sealed. And in that deposition, Bill Cosby made some admissions along the lines of admitting to using Spanish fly or whatever drug to seduce women, basically. And I don't know why Bill Cosby would have admitted to that, or why his attorneys would have even allowed him to admit to that. But at the time, they had already been told by the prosecutor over in Pennsylvania that we have made a decision. We are not going to criminally prosecute Bill Cosby. Okay. So, because that was announced, Bill Cosby couldn't claim a Fifth Amendment privilege. He couldn't claim, I have a right against self-incrimination because they took the possibility of incrimination off the table by saying we're not going to prosecute you criminally. So now it's not going to violate your rights. You can no longer invoke a right to not speak. So now you have to answer these questions. But still, why would you answer those questions in the way that he did?
Because there were no ramifications, he thought, from him doing it.
I understand that, but still, that's what got him, came back to bite him. Yeah, right. But see what ended up happening, now you got a different DA who comes in and says, hey, I'm not going to honor what the previous prosecutor told you.
Is he able to do that?
He didn't.
I know he didn't, but is he able to do that?
Is it constitutional? I don't think he should have been able to. I think an agreement is an agreement. A deal is a deal.
A deal is a deal.
But he didn't. And the court allowed it. And that was something that has been appealed or is currently being appealed. But the court allowed it. And now Bill Cosby is sitting in prison.
Oh, my God.
And if it wasn't for...
Keep going. Finish your sentence. Yeah,
if it wasn't
if it wasn't for
that deposition being unsealed, Bill Cosby probably wouldn't be in prison right now.
And that's why they're going to appeal it. So, thank you for joining us. I'm from the Halls of Justice, and this was very, very exciting.
Wow, I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. It's been an awesome show. We didn't even get through all our questions.
We didn't get through all our questions. that means show two. That means you have to come back. We got to do a show two. And yeah, who knows? Maybe we can get Judge Filer or Judge Mitchell to join us.
Yeah, we didn't get to talk about Kavanaugh. Like,
yeah, we dogged Kavanaugh.
Yeah. Oh my God, we had some interesting things to say about it.
But LeBron James.
LeBron James. Yeah. Welcome to LA, LeBron James.
Okay. All right.
Love that dude. Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for joining us, and tune in next week, and we will have a fascinating time. We have to invite you back so we can get down to the rest of our questions. And this was really good. I had a good time.
Wow. So. Thank you. I had a good time too.
So see you next week.
Yeah, time flies. Time. Thank you. Yeah. I like that type of conversation because it's just a real conversation. And once it gets flowing,